Eastern Sierra Now has been asked quite a few times about the mural in Lone Pine, and we tracked down the artist. Vincent, how's it going?
It's going well. I'm glad to have finally get some coverage on this.
Yeah. What led you to start this in the first place? Was there a process? Was there a mural society thing? Did you just decide I'm going to paint something? How'd you get going?
Sort of both. So it started out when Inyo County turned 150 years old. I attended a meeting at the courthouse, and we were just throwing ideas out about how to celebrate Inyo County turning 150, and I had kind of proposed that I paint a mural about it and then put this together, and it's been keeping me busy ever since.
What I love about the mural is, and by no means to diminish what you're doing, it reminds me of sort of like a Where's Waldo kind of thing, where there's 100 things to look at
Yeah.
at all times. How did you come up with your idea for what you're going to do? Clearly, there's a narrative to this. So how did that come about, and what is it?
So the wall is 76 feet by 16 feet high, and it's a large wall, but when you break it down, like I did, I broke it down into 8 chapters, and I'm about halfway through now. So the first chapter was the miners who came here into the Inyo County, and then the pioneer families that soon followed after. Then it goes into the Paiute Shoshone section, and there's divisions and subplots running through, so you could see the clear divisions through the landscapes and the markers that are there. Then it goes into the ranching section, and then the next division is Father Crawley. Then we're going to go from there to the movie history here in the Owens Valley, and then into Manzanar. From Manzanar it goes into tourism, and then Inyo County today is the last chapter. The basic structure of the mural is based on Thomas Hart Benton's The Social History of Indiana. So he had put this together, which, I mean, because you have so much going on, like you're saying, there's just a lot going on. And you might have one place where different things happen at different times. And so how do you put that together? So I keep this straight horizon line running through and try to keep the light all the same. And I use the background, I put all these lines back there, and that helps to change the depth perception as your eye floats around. So sometimes those lines in the background are the sky, and sometimes it's the floor or the ground. So I really utilize that. Sometimes they'll really crowd together, and sometimes they'll be, far apart.
Do you do all the research yourself on what the chapter's going to be, or do you have help from anyone?
I am doing all the research myself, and I need to mention that this is on Napa Auto Parts, and Dave Mall is the owner here. And when I approached him, Dave Mall was in charge of the Engine 18 restoration, which is in Dahee Park in Independence. Actually, it's part of the museum now, but the engine.
But, so it was.
Yeah. So the only stipulation that I had in creating this mural on this building was that I include the engine, which now I'm a train lover too after doing the research. So.
I did the same thing. Shot a movie where I was with the train, and now it's like, okay, trains are awesome.
Yeah.
I'm one of those guys. So are you from the area? Is your family from the area? What's your history here with all this?
So I'm a transmission lineman with LADWP. I first came up here in 2003 as an apprentice. Had never been up here in my life. When I became a journeyman, there was an opportunity to come up here, and I had remembered it and had some fond memories, so I decided to come and live up here in 2008. And I lived in Lone Pine for 10 years and currently in Independence. So been here a little while, and now I feel like I'm part of the community. There's definitely an evolution as it goes from left to right, like you're reading each chapter, even though there's a lot of overlapping. And then even in the landscape here, where the Paiute and the ranchers are, it's one single landscape, and that was a feat in itself, because I actually went to the Inyo County border at Highway 6, took pictures from that perspective, and then went over to the Inyo County border on 395 and took pictures from that perspective. And I still had to do a little bit of distortion to get it to fit into the space that I have here. But there's no division in that particular landscape, because the statement that I'm trying to make is that it's one people sharing this valley, but then you have the water story that creates the division down the valley, and so that it created a tension in the story, which was historical. So
Which is where the break is with the Owens River.
yeah, and
Okay,
that's
that
what
makes sense.
divides the Paiutes and the ranchers. Another interesting detail about the Paiute Shoshone part of the mural is that in the research, most of what got written about the Paiutes was the basket weaving and a lot of what women did. So when I really try to dive into getting what the whole picture was and what did the men do, I had to rely on interviews and have actually interview some of the elders and understand what they did. They had a couple of resources. They gave me like photocopies of some drawings and said, this is how we used to do this. And then I just tried my best to incorporate, and it was a huge help. So, I mean, I got through that. It was a little difficult. Another aspect of this mural, which was very hard in the beginning, especially on the minors section, was that the photographs were so old and so much, they were so grainy and the contrast was so high. A lot of the detail got lost in the darkness of the contrast, and so I had to really fill it in with my mind and try to get, try to make it work in color. So changing it from black and white to color. Another fun aspect to the mural was I watched the series Hell on Wheels because it's a period series, and to see what color fabrics and stuff. So kind of I jumped on the bandwagon of their research for part of it, which was really fun. I enjoyed the series. In the mural, I try to use photo references from books that are locally available through most of the visitor centers or most places where the local museums where you can get books.
Yeah.
So there's built-in content for nearly all of the images. So if you come across one of the images, you actually can read a little caption about each thing.
Oh, that was cool. Is it written on the wall?
No, it's just I'm going to have to come out with the book of,
showing it,
a
and
list.
about it. But that's cool. That'll be really interesting to
Yeah.
put that out there. People will really enjoy that.
Yeah.
That's cool. Through the California Museum, the Independence.
They sell them there, but I got books here from Lone Pine Visitor Center as well, and a lot of them are images of Owens Valley. That whole series, there's a lot in there. Like I got a lot out of the Bishop one, the Lone Pine one, the Mount Whitney one. So there's just little captions, little blurbs on each picture because they're like pictorial books.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's cool. What's your background as an artist? Like, what got you into this stuff in the first place?
So when I was about 16 or 17, I don't know, I just like a light went on in my head, and I just realized that the way we understand the world is through our senses. So I really got into the arts to try to understand my senses better. Painting has by far been the thing that's, jettisoned way ahead of the music and the writing and all the other stuff that I do. But I still do enjoy. I have a piano at home and a guitar and all that. But the painting was just so fluid as far as where my mind can go and how I could express what's in my mind and bring it into reality. So this public art piece has been a great challenge for me, and I love doing it. But if you were to see some of my personal artwork, it's very much different. When you do public artwork, you have to kind of walk a line to kind of bring people together rather than polarize them. And that's really been, I'm hoping that I'm doing that. I think it's been good so far.
Well, how can somebody get a hold of you if they want to discuss the mural or some of your personal art or music or anything like that?
So Facebook, I have a Facebook page. So on my Facebook page, it's Vin's Art, Vin's_art. And I'm posting more of the day-to-day stuff. And then on my regular personal page, I just post the finished pieces. So if you get on my art page, you can see the progression, and I make a couple of time-lapse videos and try to keep up with it that way. There's definitely what I call mural season that happens twice a year, which is the best time to work. It's not too cold, it's not too hot. So right now, we're going into we're going into the changing seasons, and it happens again. So fall and springtime. So that's when I try to get to it. But I also have to take vacation to come and do this. Uh, I originally started doing public artwork because I'm getting ready for my retirement, and I was thinking of moving into just being a full-time artist. So I wanted to build my reputation up, and I already have people, asking me to do a lot of things for them. My dream is to become an artist that people will buy the art because I made it. I would much rather people recognize me for my art and not for my talent so much, like to utilize my skills. So that's my personal dream, and I hope, maybe after retirement in another 9 years, I can realize that.